Cigna Health just did a study, just released it, that said that loneliness right now, loneliness is at an all-time high. Brigham Young University published a study that said the lack of social connection heightens health risks as much as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. I mean, you believe that? Social isolation, the lack of social connection, is like smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Lack of social connection leads to depression, poor sleep quality, impaired executive function, accelerated cognitive decline, increased anxiety, unhealthy habits like smoking and drinking and other things. And for those of you who were infected with COVID, I mean, it was serious. And we all know people who were infected and became extremely ill. Me, I actually got it one time, and I was just kind of weak in the knees. I didn't even know I had it. No, seriously, I had to take a test for something else, and so I took the test, and I popped positive. It's like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, I was just living life. I was going out, I just felt weak in the knees, like I needed to go get a Snickers bar or something. But when you got sick, man, you just had to stop, right? You couldn't go anywhere. You had to be isolated. You had to be by yourself. You were ostracized by everyone else. You couldn't go to the grocery store. You couldn't go to a restaurant. You couldn't even come to church. We would have said, no, you need to be clean. You need to be healthy to be able to come. Right? We wanted you to be clean. You see, that's a common misperception by many people in our world. It might even be a common misperception that you're struggling with or your children are struggling with right now. That in order to come to church, you got to have your act together. In order to come to church, you got to have everything lined up. In order to come to church, you got to be clean. In order to have a relationship with Jesus, you can't have anything wrong. But what's amazing is when you look at the scriptures, all throughout the scripture, Jesus, his ministry, it was anything but safe, wasn't it? Jesus, he touched lepers. He enlisted tax collectors to be part of his inner circle. He befriended those who were caught up in sin. He befriended those who were ostracized, who were cast out, who were in isolation. Have you ever noticed it is so easy for us? It is so easy for us to point our fingers at somebody to be judgmental, isn't it? When somebody lives or talks a different way than we talk, they behave differently than we behave, easy for us to point our finger at them and say, look at them, look how wrong they are, look at how unhealthy they are, that they're sick. It's easy for us to be hypercritical, to be duplicitous, to be narrow-minded, to simply point our fingers at them and maybe even make fun at their expense. I mean, after all, they're different. They speak with an accent. They're a different culture. They're a different skin color. They're a different religion, have a different belief system, even among Christians. It's so easy for us to ostracize people, to cut people off, to identify them as being unclean, and to shoo them away, to keep them at arm's length. But when you looked at Jesus, once again, all throughout Scripture, Jesus loved those who hated him. Jesus blessed those who persecuted him. Jesus welcomed and loved everybody, regardless of their station in life, regardless of their socioeconomic status, regardless of their culture or their language, their belief system, or whether they were clean or ill.